gentlemen, join me as I welcome the last speaker for today and for Sailsconf Africa 2024, Damilola Olowookere, as he's going to talk to us on Less Hard Work, More Smart Work. I like this one. I love this one. So Damilola Olowookere is a PHP/JavaScript developer. He authored and maintains DevDB. Thank you so much. Please let's clap for him. Although he's already here.
Thank you.
You have just 30 minutes, please. Okay,
Hi. Yeah, I mean, we've all had a very long day. So like she mentioned, this is the last one. Stick with me. You're going to enjoy this one, okay? As mentioned, my name is Damilola Olowookere. I'm going to be talking today on less hard work and then doing more of smart work. And the idea is that, and then hard work not to denigrate, hard work that projects, excellence and perseverance and all that. But hard work in the sense that you can look at the analogy between hard life and soft life. Okay, I think that's like the best analogy. So there are some things that we do, I think is like choosing the hard way of achieving the same thing that we'll have achieved otherwise if done smartly. So that's just what I'm going to be talking about today. And a little bit about me beyond my name. Yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm a husband to the most beautiful woman in the whole world. Thank you, thank you. And then we have a very beautiful daughter, so I'm a father. And I think this picture like does justice of who I am. So that's why I just popped the picture there. And then, of course, this is not why I'm here. So, yeah, I'm a PHP developer. When I'm doing PHP, I'm doing Laravel. And when I'm doing JavaScript, I'm doing Vue.js. I'm a co-founder. And like I told some folks, I say we are like co-hustlers, not really co-founders. And then I work remotely for an ad tech company. Our startup is actually like an edu tech company. And then, like mentioned, also I authored and maintained DevDB. And on Twitter, you see me on _Dam005. So yeah, it's a good thing that before I came on stage, you guys did tweeting. So you're still going to stick with your phones. We're going to do it in a moment. And then I came bearing gifts. Yeah, so I had the permission of the organizers to, Augustine, please, can you help me with my bag? So I come bearing gifts, so please participate. They are not like technical questions, They are like soft questions like this. So don't Google, don't cheat. You don't need to cheat, because the gift is instantly. So don't do, there's no need for partial. So yeah, first question here. Who can complete this sentence? A jack of all trades, master of none.
But still a master of what? Can I get my match?
No. not for speakers. Okay, but then even at that you didn't get it. Skill issues. But I think, is that the only attempt? Okay, please. Yeah. If that's the only attempt, then he's going to have it.
A jack of all trades is the master of none, but often better than the master of one.
Woo! What's the name, please? What's the name, please? Yeah, let's get this to her. Who's doing that? I can just throw it, no worry.
Please make sure you reserve one for the host.
Okay, a round of applause for her, please. Yeah, don't worry, today is just gift galore, So the second question is that who was this statement first used to describe? Who? Wrong. Wrong. Another one, another giveaway. Yeah. Time up. So it was William Shakespeare, right? Wow. So, and then, no, you didn't say it.
I was going to say it. You didn't hear me.
Good
I
try.
actually said it, you didn't hear me.
In the spirit, yeah, of course. So it's actually an expression to contrast between a generalist and a specialist. And I believe that it fits into this context because I believe in the world we need generalists, we need specialists, right? So I think this is more like an indie hacker themed conference. So yeah, we need to not just fixate on just knowing one thing. I think it is good that we have an idea like what we learned in the morning from the keynote speech. And yeah, if you did not get anything from my talk today, let this image stick to in your mind, right? So I think this encapsulates my talk. These two dudes that are pulling this trolley, I believe they are moving. They are not stuck. They are doing something. But if but if they had listened to this other guy giving them an advice, perhaps they will sweat less, or perhaps they move faster. They will be better off, right? So the whole essence of this talk is to make you do less of the hard work and offload that to more of a smarter way of doing things. And this is the part where you get to engage with me. So go to this website, slido.com. Go to slido.com quickly and enter 1911-051 as displayed on the screen. I just want to get your opinion on what do you think as developers, what do you think will make you work better? Your IDE, your CLI, or CI/CD DevOps things, or other stuff. So just pop in your answers there. It's going to be live, so if you're not doing it, I will know. So let's do it another like 30 seconds or something. Go to slido.com and let me know what you think. And you can scan the QR code, of course, please. Okay, wow. We have one entry already. Let me just give like 20 more seconds. Okay. We are on 50-50, just two people. Nice. I'm enjoying this. Okay, others? Yep. Okay, cool. IDE. Some people. Let's wait for two more guys. Two more people, Anybody? Nice. Nice. So yeah, I'm happy that nobody is selecting CLI yet. Anyway, that's okay. So from that small social experiment, we see that we all have at least a common agreement that something can be done better to improve our experience as developers. And in my own opinion, I think when you have improvements in your CLI, your IDE, and you add AI on top of that, I just believe we create literal fire, like magical fire. So we are going to be demonstrating with these two tools. They are like tools that I use like in my daily workflow almost every day, Ada and AI commits. And we are going to be demonstrating, excuse me, using a discussion that is open on DevDB GitHub repo. So this guy, Abdallah, he opened a discussion that is there a way to support MySQL Server on DevDB. I don't use MySQL Server. I don't have any interest in using it. I think it's been like 7 years since I used it. But then as a maintainer of a tool, you want to address the request of your users, right? Even if I don't use it, I want to, respect that request. And of course, because I think my response to him, more of like, nah, I'm not doing it. I think that may have even dissuaded some other developers, users of MySQL Server from using that extension, right? Because it's a Visual Studio Code extension. So I said, yeah, you can PR your changes, I will review it, and he just thumbed up. So meaning he wasn't going to do it anyways. So yeah, we're going to look at how we're going to use these two tools to quickly, hopefully, add this new database server to DevDB in perhaps maybe under a minute or so. So yeah, I'm in DevDB code base now. So I say either no auto commits. So one of the things I like with Ada is that it integrates into your version control system, right? So it can state changes for you and automatically commit those changes. So yeah, but I don't want it to automatically commit the changes. I want to be able to review the staged changes. So I say, so like we learned during Augustine's talk that one of the good ways of using AI is to provide enough context, like good context, right? So in this case, this tool has the opportunity, the feature for you to provide as context. And now because I know that I'm implementing a new database server, the best context I can create is an existing database server. So the implementation of an existing database server. So I say add a config file provider, which, so these are the things actually mentioned in the in my response to that discussion that I just showed you. Then I want to add the MySQL provider for that also. And I want to add the MySQL engine for that. Yeah. So now I have added the required context that I think will help the AI to give me what I need. So I say, so my prompt now is add a new implementation for MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, then ensure to implement all required methods. I can't type again, sorry, similar to MySQL engine. And I know that because, yeah, I'm conversant with the code base. And I say enter. Now, one thing that I want to quickly point out here is that one of I think the advantages of following established design patterns, right, is an advantage that I can use here. Now, if you look at, while this is running, if you look at the 3 files that I could provide as context, this config provider, if you look at that bottom left corner, is just like 4 kilobytes. The other one is like 976 bytes. That one is less than 4 kilobytes. Collectively, are now up to 10 kilobytes. And I think that is where something like single responsibility principle shines, where you are able to separate things to individual components, and then it helps you in situations like AI, where you can just pack everything as a single, and it will fit into a single context window. Yeah, so it is done now. It is saying, do I want to create this new, these new implementations? I say yes, and then it's created them. And then if we go and look at the state changes, we see that we have a brand new implementation of Microsoft SQL Server that I don't have to do the hard work of. The alternative is I can go and spend hours or whatever that it will take me to new up a new research on how I will do that, because it's been long since I worked on it, right? So I think using, and you can see it also updated where it should add updates in my existing code base. So I think these are like one of the few areas where tools like this shine. So I can just say add MS SQL server, yeah? And then I have a new feature, courtesy of AI, right? Under like 3 minutes, I guess. Now, the other tool, which is AI commit, just helps with commit messages. Because I'm very big on very descriptive and expressive commit messages. I don't like WIP, first commit and all that. So so what I use for that is that AI commit. So I can say something like, write a new test. Yeah, 1 second. Write a new test similar to MySQL. So it provides to complete to cover this new MS SQL implementation. Yeah, and it asks me to, if he wants that to be added to the context, And I said yes, and then it proceeds to write the test, right? And all I have to do is to just so from my test, I just needed to install a dependency, right, to make this new generated code to work, So, and I add that, and that's all. I can control C out of this now. Yeah. And then I can just say AI commits, yeah, just AI commits. And hopefully it gives us like a descriptive commit message. Create a new test file for MS SQL engine and say yes, and that's all. So it saves me and I'm someone that is very big on not doing too much of context switching when I'm working. So it's just a little bit of relief for me when I'm working and I don't have to make a lot of decisions, right? And then there are like a couple of other tools that I also use, like my daily drivers. One of them is this VS Code extension called Code Spell Checker. And don't worry, if you are not using VS Code, there are usually equivalent like plugins or extension in your own preferred IDs too. So these are just like indicators if you are not using VS Code. So Code Spell Checker, just as the name implies, helps you in checking code. And I think it is helpful, especially when you're working on with your front end, where you inadvertently slip, typos into production, and then your customers are the ones that are now telling you about those mistakes. And I think it helps me because, I'm like more like a solopreneur. My startup is like 2-man startup, right? So we don't have the fund to have like a QA engineer and some copy editors and all that. So tools like this helps us to fill, those spaces. And then partial diff, I'm going to demonstrate it, of course. So partial diff is more like, of course, your diffy, like what Leon's boy told us earlier on. Diffing is the same thing across board, but in this context, diffing is just telling us the differences between two files, and even sometimes just two texts. Yeah, the differences. So let me so I have an app to demonstrate briefly to us that. So that first one that I was talking about is, so spell checker is how it works. So say, for example, you said click to buy, but then you didn't know you misspelled this. And you can see it has already indicated it for me that there's an error there. I can just fix that. So it is helpful when you are solo driving, yeah? So, and I find it very, very useful. So this is how I use the diffing extension. I can just say compare text with clipboard. And what this helps me with is mostly when I'm working on UI, front end, right? So maybe I copied a component, a code from maybe Tailwind UI component or whatever, and then I have implemented it. Something has gone wrong, maybe a styling issue. And I don't want to be squinting and looking at character by character what's changed. I can just, copy one to the clipboard and compare with what I have, implemented. So it helps in, those kind of situations. And of course, you can copy, you can diff across files, whole files. Say select for compare. I can compare with another one. Say compare with selected, and it diffs a whole file for you. So that's similar to your OSX Unix command of diff file 1, file 2, something like that. Yeah. So that is how I use, and they are like little time savers, but they are cumulatively they have a good effect on my productivity. And the last one there is DevDB, which of course you know a little bit about. It's a VS Code extension for viewing your databases in VS Code, and it's of course written in Vue.js. So yeah, there are no skills issues there. I want to rush through a lot of things. Then I have two bonus. I call them bonus tools because they didn't enter my first version of this presentation, but because I find them equally as useful, that's why I'm mentioning them. One of them is called test containers. So test containers is an open source project that allows you to run services in containers. So for example, in DevDB source code, I use Oh, let me open that, sorry. So if you go to the tests for DevDB, the database engines, for example, for MySQL, you see that I'm using a MySQL container from this package. So this package has a whole lot of what I call modules that you can containerize. So for example, my SQL test, my Postgres SQL test, my SQLite test, I run them, against real database servers, right? Courtesy of this project. So, and it is not limited to like databases. So you can containerize your test for, say, Algolia, or whatever that is supported, of course. So they are listed here, and you can easily also knee up your container and do the same thing for whatever is not supported that you need. So the last one for this bonus is called fake filler. So fake filler is also another thing that helped me in the front end. So I also have this project that I prepared to demonstrate this. I call it NFT Marketplace. So NFT Marketplace, NFT Marketplace is like, NFT for domains. It's like a project where you maybe sell domains, just to conceptualize that in your mind, where people can come and say, I want to buy this domain, all right? So say in the back end, I want to create like a new, wherever in your UI, but in this case, in my back end, I want to create a new, let me open, yeah. Okay. So I have 8 minutes left, so yeah, let's make it count, right? Yeah, that will never happen in production. Anyways, so the way it works is I would have loved to demo that. Hopefully I don't. Anyways, so fake filler is another tool that let me just move fast. I'm out of time. So another thing that I think we can use to replace hard work is to not build anything until you've been asked for, right? So you should believe the words of a tech guru like Ben, is the co-founder of Tuple, if you know Tuple, and this thing, I learned it the hard way. So take, for example, this software was in 2010, 11, somewhere around that time. This was like in C#. This was really like Windows Phone back then. And you can see I had like 20 something form input, right? And the thing with this is that it goes beyond just the UI. I have to maintain the ORM layer and all that, the database layer and all that, for each of those single point fields. But then nobody was using almost like half of the data points, right? But this is like 3 years ago or so. It is having like half of that other input fields. So the lesson here is that as long as someone does not request for something, you don't have any business implementing it, right? And I would have loved to also seek your opinion on this other poll. If you can do that under like, do you have to after 3 minutes? Up to 3 minutes? 6 minutes, okay. Under 30 seconds. Why do you have multiple tabs open? Quickly. What is that? Why do you have multiple tabs open? Why? Why, please? Why? Multiple skill issues. So please, can you participate? Can you participate? Others, okay. 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 3 people. Let's look for 2 more. 2 more. Yeah, 4. The last person. Oh, okay. So you write something you think may be useful in your code. Okay. Yeah. So for that, I think you can use GitHub issues. Like that is how I approach it. So if you have something that you think will be very, very useful for you, you are not ready to work on it now, just KIV it in a GitHub issue. The issue will always be there. Another good part of that is you can provide context in the description like I did here as an example. Also, you have another thing that I think you can use to offset hard work is your CD pipeline, right? So you can do continuous delivery. Here it's for school server, that software I showed you the other time, where I'm building for Windows platform. So I use Linux, my daily driver, yeah? And the bulk of my users are on Windows. School server is for secondary schools, right? They're on Windows. So CD help. So before then, I will have to work on my Linux, push, then come to Windows, pull, then build, But then that's hard work. I call that hard work. The smart way of doing it is CD. And then GitHub hooks. Also another way you can offload hard work. So like here, I'm hooking into this is like a scheduler now that closes inactive issues. Alternative to that is the hard work of going through my issues list and looking for what to close, which I think is hard work. I think this is a smarter way of doing it. And finally, embrace tools, frameworks like Sails, Rails, Laravel, whatever works for you. But don't jump on like the newest, shiniest thing. Then read the docs. Then finally, assess your decisions, right? Don't make all your technical decisions. You have successful labs that are doing stuff. Predia is an opinionated formatting tool that you can use. You don't need to think of, should my curly braces come before the if and all that. Just outsource those ones. The last one is Passy. It's a Belgium Laravel shop that I love so much. They have guidelines that covers almost everything they do. PHP, JavaScript, version control, whatever. So I think you can leverage on all these existing things that can help you to work smarter than harder. And my final slide. Gift. What is the similarity between VS Code, Integrated Terminal, and DevDB? DevDB does not have code completion. Who said code completion? Code completion. Okay. One. Pardon? Auto suggestion. One, two, three. No, that's wrong. But I will give the four of you the gift for participating. Thank you.
Where's my gifts? Are you taking questions? Can take one. Can just take one question.
Question if they are ready because.
Do you have any question? Oh, that's good.
I have a question here. Okay. So okay, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Okay, who are you giving the gifts?
Yeah.
Who are you giving the gifts?
Not now. I will because of time. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Damilola Olowookere.